I got back from France. What is it? It's Sunday now. 2 days ago. Need to check before I make some false statement. I got back 2 days ago and it is very warm here. So it was hot in France, but for that place it's a little bit more normal to be quite warm. But now here it's very hot. I checked this morning and it was like 38 degrees. And now we're in the shade here. The sun is out, but I'm under the tree, so a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of shade. But it's still very warm. And I have a lot of things to do. But it's like, because I just got back, I have so many things to do that I don't really know where to start. And that's not something I usually have problems with, but I do now. But I'm going to start out with just giving my plants some water. Just start out slowly today, and then I'll get my mind set to something of a bigger project. But for now, let's start with taking care of the plants. Because I was gone, they can use some care and some water. My mom took care of the animals. If you didn't watch that video where I went to visit France with my brother, it was last week's video, so please check it out if you would like to see what we were up to. It's just a little side quest adventure, something different from my normal content, but if you want to see a bit more of my life and me traveling the world, I sometimes travel as well, check out that video. And if you saw it already, thank you for watching. If you don't like to see travel videos, please just watch this video because I'm going nowhere this week, just staying home. But yeah, you can see they dried out a little bit. I don't know if it's in frame. Oh yeah, you guys can see. It dried out a little bit. I think they should all be fine if I just give them water now. But it is hot, so I waited till there was shade. Right now there is not full sun, so I'm going to give them water and we'll see if they turn back to life. I was very happy my mom took care of the animals, and that's a lot of work to do already, so the plants should be fine. I didn't ask her to look at all the plants here, and I think they will be fine. Mom, thank you for helping out with the animals. You don't need to do everything, so no problems there. I will water them and then I think I start to clean up here because it got a bit messy again. That's just, when you live in a tiny cottage, you have a lot of stuff around the cottage and it gets messy very quickly. And of course I like to make it look nice and clean for you guys, but I'm also just like, I want to show how it is realistically, and it's not always clean and nice here. Sometimes it's messy and sometimes it's dirty, and it is right now. I don't know if you can see the couch over there, but it's full of stuff, so I'm going to give the water to the plants and then clean up, and then we'll see what I'll do the rest of the video. so you can see here the mess I was talking about. So I could just frame the camera over here and you can see my beautiful Instagram worthy cottage garden, which if you look up close doesn't look that nice, but it's still nice. But this is the reality. There's a mess here and I still need to clean it up. And I could just leave it out, but it's just real life. This is how it is. So it's also messy here, sometimes more than other times, but yeah, I'm going to clean this up later and then it will look good again. But sometimes, you know how it goes, there's one thing and then you put another thing and then you put three things and then all of a sudden it's very messy. And that's the same here, especially because I have a small house, so there's a lot of stuff outside happening, so it gets messy quickly, but I don't really mind. I clean it up once in a while and then I think it's fine again. An Amazon package I never opened, but I knew what was in there and I knew it was fine outside, but I will show you what it is now, because I'm probably going to use it tomorrow or later this week. It is this safety pens for the chainsaw. I already have, look, it goes like this. I already have like real pens, these are just the front parts, but because it's so hot, the pens are quite hot, and this is hot as well, but because the back part is open, it's a little bit less, so I ordered these to be able to use the chainsaw when it's extremely warm outside and still be safe, because just going in like shorts is not a great idea and I like to be safe, so that's what this is for. And if you guys remember a few videos back, I think 2 videos now, I cut down the tree over in the horse pasture and it is still exactly in the same spot as where it fell. So these will come in handy because I also have a lot of logs laying around from fallen trees from like last year and last winter that I didn't get to because we have a lot of wood on the property here and sometimes it's just too much to cut up and chop up, and it's something that takes a little bit of time and I do it in between other things. So yeah, there's still a lot to go, and if I do it now it can dry like the rest of the summer, mostly in the sun, so it will be almost ready to use. Some types of woods dry quicker than others, but it will be some parts of the wood will be ready to use next winter, and if they are not ready this winter they will be next year. So the quicker you get it cut up, the better it is. But most of the trees that are down have been dead for a few years. So they are dry already. So it doesn't take too long. We don't really cut down trees that are healthy and green. We only do the ones that are not healthy, are dangerous, and the ones that fall on their own, because it sometimes happens during a storm. So most of the wood is already pretty dry. So it doesn't take too long. So if I cut it up now, I can still probably use the wood this winter. So don't need to wait too long with it. And I'm planning on starting to work on the wood storage for next winter this week. But when it's so hot out, it's just, yeah, it takes a lot because it's quite hard work. Even when using the chainsaw, it's quite heavy equipment as well. And yeah, just when it's so warm, it's sometimes hard to get to, but I will start doing it this week. I'll promise to myself and to you guys, so I'm going to keep that promise. But we have the equipment now, so probably going to start tomorrow. It is so warm. I was just watering the plants, cleaning up and nothing else, but it's still pretty hot to be outside, so I decided I will continue my activities later tonight when hopefully it will cool down a little bit. And my mom asked my brother and I to have dinner at her place and also with my grandma, so I'm going to go over there. I think they are using the barbecue. I can smell it already, so I'm going to see what they have for us, and then later tonight hopefully it will cool down. The wind is picking up a little bit, so I think it might cool down a bit as well, and it's more nice to be outside when it's a little bit less warm.
Lekker!
Zo goed als klaar is. Dat is lekker, schat.
Geflambeerde hamburger.
Nee. So I really enjoyed dinner at my mom's place. It was very nice. It was also nice weather for it when it's those nice summer days and it's very hot. It's just, I think, extra nice to spend some time with family later in the day and enjoy the nice warm evenings as well. But now it's cooled down a little bit, so I think it's pretty nice to do some small outdoor tasks again, because I'm not going to continue too late. I think we will have sunlight for another hour or so. I think you can see the sun setting already a little bit behind my cottage, but what you can also see is all those nettles over there. Yeah, I still need to clear this area. In one of my previous videos I did a part around the horse shelter, but then the I don't know what you call it in English. It's like a bush cutter, a grass trimmer only. It's only a little bit bigger. I think you know what I mean. It's a machine to cut down weeds like this. But now I have this bit old school, but there's a good reason I'm going to use this, because let me show you guys. I have all these nettles over here that I want gone because they are in my fence, and there's an electric fence wire running over here, and if all those nettles are touching the wire, the electricity will be gone and the horses don't feel it, and of course that's a big problem because then they can run into the fence or escape if they like. Especially small ponies, they love to escape, so it's not a good thing to lose electricity, and also it just gets out of hand. You all know what nettles do, they get out of hand very quickly. So I'm going to remove this, but this part, there's a small part here that is like metal fencing. I think I'm going to remove it one day, but it's attached to this tree and it's just very hard to remove. So it's still there, and if you use like the trimmer, it will break on those metal things here. So that's why I'm going to cut it with hand and not with the machine, because if I use the machine it will constantly break on the metal, and that's not great. So I'm going to use this instead of using a machine. It will probably take a bit longer, and now I'm looking at it, it will probably hurt my arms as well. It's still very warm, so I prefer to wear short clothing, but if it's needed I will put a jacket on or something so I can reach in there. But that's what I'm doing with this cutter. It's not like I like to do it the old school way. Well, I don't really mind, but if I would do everything this way, it will take forever. So it's just because it's needed here. I'm not going to do the whole field this way. We have machines for that, so that's better. But now here, because of the metal and I don't want to ruin it, we're going to use this. I'm going to grab some longer clothing. Now you can see the electric wire goes here, and it's almost completely free now. This way it's fine. Some things can touch it, that's no problem. But it was fully overgrown, and it is around the field as well. It's just what happens, you know. You cannot keep it clear completely, or you would need to cut down everything, and I don't like it. I like it to be green. I like to let nature do its thing as well. I don't want to cut everything down, and if you do it like this, small parts, it's still fine. The fence is fine this way, and you can keep that nature feeling. I don't even like it when it's all clean cut down. I like it this way more, a little bit natural, and I think, I don't know, but I think the horses like it that way as well, just a bit more natural. So yeah, I am quite hot now. That's better. Yeah, now you can also see what I mean, because this is all metal. If you use like a bush trimmer, you will ruin it on this fence. And I don't want to do that, so this way it worked fine. Maybe it takes a bit longer, but it's fairly quickly, and I don't mind doing it. I think it's fun to do this way as well. I'm going to leave the nettles here. Some of you guys might be worried the horses are going to touch it or going to eat it even, and that's not a problem. Nettles are actually very healthy for horses. They don't eat them when they are growing, but now they are cut down and it's warm out, the sun is out tomorrow the whole day. They will dry up very quickly, and then nettles are actually good for horses. They will not eat everything here, but they will dry out, and the horses just like to play with it, like to roam around, and it's natural behavior for them to investigate different kind of plants. and cannot harm them. So why remove it if they enjoy playing with it? If I leave it here and it dries out, they will eat it, not everything, but some of it, and that's fine for them. It's very healthy. So I'm going to remove it when everything is left over, probably next week or so. When there's something left and they finished it, I will remove the rest. But it's fine here. I don't mind it laying around. You just need to be careful when I walk here because it still stings me. But for them it's fine. They like it, so if they like it, I'm happy. While we're still in the horse pasture, these are some of the trees I talked about. This is the first one I cut down. It's also the smallest one. And in that video I explained why I left it here. It's so the horses can use it to scratch. They like to play around with it, they like to scratch. You can see it here. All these ends are a bit dirty, and on some of them is even like hairs and stuff. Because they use this a lot to play around. I'm not going to leave it here forever. Right now it's summertime, so everything is very dry. This wood is also dry because both those trees were dead. This one has been here for a couple of weeks now, but it was dead for like 5 years. And this one, this bigger one, is the last one I cut down. I think it's like 2 weeks ago now or so. And that one was also dead already for multiple years. So the wood is very dry, but if you leave it here and it's very wet, like in winter time or autumn or spring even in our place, this wood will start to rot. But now it's drying here because the ground is very dry and it doesn't rain that much, so it's fine on the ground. So I'm going to leave it here for the horses to play with, but I'm going to clean up a little bit now because it's a lot to do when it starts raining again. So I think I will leave this bigger one here. I will maybe cut it here so I can clean up the smaller end part already. And about the smaller one, I might cut the top part like till somewhere there, just so I did a little bit of the work already, and when the weather changes again I don't need to do everything, because when it starts raining all of a sudden it's a lot of work to do, but I want them to be able to play with it. So I'm for sure leaving this part here behind me, the bigger end, and then I think till like this area, so they have this to play with and to scratch, but we'll see tomorrow. It also depends on the weather, but yeah, now you guys see what I'm talking about. The horses really love it, so I would love to leave it here forever, but it just starts to rot when it starts raining, so it's fun for them now, and then I have to remove it one day, but I might leave this bigger one here for a little bit longer and just clean up this small one. And also I can use the wood in wintertime. For now it's fine, but when we need to make fires again, I can use all the wood there is. Hey guys, it's the next day again. Still very warm. It's pretty hot. I think it's even worse than it was yesterday. When I looked outside it was on my black wall, so it's a little bit warmer than it is really, but yeah, it was like 38 degrees. So Celsius. I don't know, I think that's in the 90s Fahrenheit. But yeah, pretty hot. And it's also lunchtime already. I skipped breakfast because it was so hot that I'm not that hungry in the mornings. But now I am, so I'm going to make lunch and then I'm going to start my day. Yesterday I waited till later at night for some of my outdoor work, but today that's not really possible because I'm going out to eat dinner with my brother and with some friends. So cannot do any work tonight. I will probably be back when it's already dark, so I need to do it during the day. And that's fine. I think I'm going to cut the wood I talked about yesterday in the horse pasture, and I have some leftover logs I also really need to cut, so I think I'm going to do some work with the chainsaw. And my mom asked me to help her at her pond. Dylan and I live at the back of the property, and we have a very large pond right next to our tiny homes, to our cottages, whatever you want to call it. And my mom lives at the front part of the property, and she has a smaller pond right next to her house. And although I call it a smaller pond, it's still quite a large pond, and it needs some work because all the plants are getting out of hand there. It needs a lot of maintenance, and we didn't really have time for it yet. But it's very warm now, so it's not really a problem to go in the water. So she asked me if I wanted to help her out, clean a little bit there. And that's what I'm going to do as well. And it's nice when it's hot out to be at the water. So yeah, first make some lunch. I'm making pancakes. Oh, actually I think I'm just making one pancake. It's actually more, in Dutch we call it a pannenkoek. I think you guys call it Dutch pancakes. It's not really a pancake, it's more flat and thin. And I'm making it with strawberries. The last time I made pancakes, a lot of you guys asked me what I put on top, and that's a bit hard to answer because we call this vla in the Netherlands. You can see it here. I don't know if you can read it, but it says vla with vanilla taste, and it's like, it has a little bit of the consistency of like a yogurt. But it's sweet and it's not sour like yogurts can be. And it feels a bit, I don't know how to explain it. It feels soft. It's not a really overwhelming taste. It just has a slight vanilla taste. And I don't know if there is an English word for it. I just know it as vla. And I think most people in the Netherlands know vla. It's pretty common here. And yeah, I think it tastes great, especially with like fruit. And I think like this way on a pancake with fruit, it tastes great. But it has vanilla taste, so if you want to replicate this, use something like a yogurt consistency and vanilla taste, and I think you should be good. And then I just put strawberries on top, and I'm also going to put this It's kind of like a muesli, crusty. It's with oats and dark chocolate. So that's it. Oh, not really true. I'm also going to put a syrup on top with caramel taste. To make it even more sweet. But it's all not too overwhelmingly sweet. It is sweet, of course, but the most sweetness comes from the strawberries. And also, I'm not really a great cook, so I just eat things I really like. Most of them are pretty simple. I'm definitely not a great cook, but I try my best. And I'm also not really going to explain everything I make, of course, but last time I made this I got some questions, so now you guys know I'm not going to give cooking tutorials because, yeah, I'm definitely not a good cook. I barely know what I'm doing. This is just something I know, so keeping it simple. It's very hot outside, but I think I'm going to eat it outside because inside here it's also very hot. So we'll find a spot in the shade, eat this and then start working. It's so hot, guys. I'm completely drenched in sweat, but I wanted to do it, so I'm going to do it anyway. For this one, I am going to leave the big part over here, so the horses still have something to play with. I think I'm going to remove that at the end of summer, the start of August. No, not the start of August, the start of autumn. The start of August is already gone. I think it depends on the weather. If it starts raining, it's going to rot, like I explained yesterday. But I do want them to have something to play with still, and also they can use it to scratch. And I love for them to be able to show this natural behavior. So I'm going to leave this bigger part, and I think I might cut it from up here. There's a tree stump still here from a previous tree, very long ago, and I think I'm going to cut off like right here, so they still have this whole area to play with. And with this large one here, I think I'm going to cut up this part, so remove all those loose ends there, and I'm going to make this a bit smaller because now it's very high up in the air, and I think it will look a bit cleaner when it's gone. So this is all that's left, this big one here, so they can use that to play, and I can use this to dry out for firewood for hopefully this winter. But the log I did previously, all those bits are almost ready to use already, because it's a dead tree and it dried up in the sun here already, so it's almost ready to use. Could make a fire with it right now. It's very hot, so I'm not going to do it, but I could if I wanted to. That's how dry it is, and I think this one will be the same, because when I cut it down I already noticed it's quite dry. So yeah, I'm just going to do this to clean up now, and I'm doing it now anyway, so best continue as far as I can till I get too hot. But yeah, this will be the edge, I think, and then I leave this for them to play with. You can see small Oreo showing an interest already. She loves to play with the logs the most. It's mostly the small ponies that do it. Bounty, that's the bigger horse. She's not the playful kind of horse. She does like to investigate, but these small ponies, they are very curious. Oreo? Yeah, they love to play with things laying around. So I'm going to leave it for them to clean up a little bit. It doesn't look too good with two of those fallen trees here. And I also want them to have enough space to run around and play around. Oreo. She's always going for the tripod right away. Oreo. And now she's going to the chainsaw. With things like these, if it's really dangerous because I'm felling a tree, I will put them in the other field because I don't want them to get hurt. But I also want them to be used to lots of sound so they don't get scared easily. So if I can, I'll just let them walk by. They can investigate on their own, and this way they learn. They don't really need to be scared of anything I'm doing. Of course, if it's dangerous, I'll put them in the other field, but right now it's fine. She just wanted to say hi, I guess. Just see what I'm doing. Hey. I'm going to see if I can move this part. It's still quite large, but it's too much on the ground, and with the chainsaw you cannot hit the sand. It will be dull very quickly. So I want to move it a little bit up so I can cut through it easily. But I think it might be still too heavy to lift for myself. You guys know me, I don't like to ask for help, so I'm going to try to do it on my own. Oh. Well, sometimes you surprise yourself. The last part I'm going to do today because I'm very hot, and the rest I want to leave for them to play with. So this is extremely dry. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's yeah, it's perfect firewood. So it's a start for next winter. Yeah, let's finish it up. Also, the noise in the background is Dylan on the lawnmower. Always when you hear this sound, it's Dylan. It's like when I try to film a video, he is inspired by the fact that I'm working and he is going to work as well. Which is good, I guess. But yeah, then you know what the sound is. Dylan, for you guys that don't know, is my brother. Pretty happy with that. Always when you cut it up, doesn't seem like too much wood anymore. It seemed like pretty alright sized trees, but now I cut it up in small bits. It's like it's nothing. That's done. Don't know if it really shows on camera, but yeah. I'm completely covered in sawdust. I'm very dirty, but that's just how it goes with these kind of things. If you live like this, you, I think, need to stop caring a bit if you're dirty or not. I try to, but I would love to take a shower now, for sure, because yeah, I'm completely covered in sawdust. But first I'm going to grab the wheelbarrow and collect all this wood, so the horses don't walk it around in the whole field. And then I need to help my mother in the pond, so I don't really know if it's worth it to take a shower, because I need to shower again after I've been in the pond, because it isn't the cleanest. And I'm sure I'm going to get very dirty again, so yeah, just going to be covered in sawdust for now. right here, you can see what I was talking about. Mom already started this week. This is everything she removed from over here, but there's a large bush here still, and also on the other side. And it's just, it keeps on growing and growing, and when you sit here, it's nice if you have a nice view of the pond, but when this starts growing here, you cannot see anything. So I'm going to look if I can remove all of this here, and over there some water plants are in the middle of the pond, and she also wants that gone because it keeps overgrowing. So we'll see if we can remove some of that as well. Of course, everything I did today took way longer than I expected, so I need to leave in like half an hour. So we'll see how far we'll get. We removed quite a lot of it already, and that's it for today. It's also getting late, so I need to get ready to go out to eat. But I just wanted to show you guys how much the pigs enjoy these kind of things. So this is actually very good for them to eat as well. With pigs it's like they can eat almost everything, and if they cannot eat it, they will not eat it. So they are smart enough to figure it out on their own. And we are going to leave this here so they have something to do. And they can enjoy a little snack. It keeps them busy, and it's also very healthy for them as well. So yeah, just want to show you guys those things. It's so funny how they just decide on their own, well, let's try it out. Guusje. Guus always has some interest in the tripod. Guusje. Oh yeah, I'll let them finish their snack and I'll get ready for my own food.